Hello and welcome to another episode of Life Changers, and this is Mike. On today's episode, we're going to talk about trusting yourself. So, I know it sounds crazy. Well, Mike, I do trust myself. But, you really just got to trust yourself. So, when I talk about trusting yourself, you got to trust the decisions that you're making, that it's coming from your higher self, or that's coming from your soul or your gut, or whatever you want to call it. But you got to really just trust yourself and trust the process. I know we had an episode called Trust the Process, but you got to trust in yourself. What I mean is, you got to just roll with it, So, how many times have you ever made a decision, something came your way, you manifested something and it came your way, and you ended up having what you wanted, and then you second-guessed it, and you're like, well, let's just go research some more, let's go do this. Let's go do that and try to make it better, right? But then you realize, well, no, the first one that came my way was the right one. It's happened to us so many times, even for me, you got to learn just to roll with it and trust yourself, because there's so many times and missed opportunities. I know we cover a lot of this stuff, but I've just got to reiterate that you really miss a lot if you don't trust yourself and go with the flow and just trust and roll with it. Because here's a story, okay? So we're on vacation. I'm in Florida, and I'm rolling with it. Trust me. You won't believe me if I tell you, so I might have to take a picture of this and put it on our Facebook group, and maybe on TikTok. But I'm literally... So my family's gone. They're all gone doing different activities and stuff. And I'm literally just sitting in here in a closet in the condo that we're renting for we're staying on a resort. So they give me a 2-bedroom condo. And I know on one of my other episodes, you heard that we were at the ocean. Well, now we're more near Disney World and all that fun stuff for the kids, right? But I'm literally in the closet with full of pillows. I got pillows above me, pillows in front of me, pillows behind me. I'm sitting on a pillow. I'm sitting on the bedroom safe that's in our closet in the bedroom. And I closed the doors. I turned off everything. It's really hot in here. I mean, it's been in degrees Celsius. It's been 30 to 35 degrees. Really high humidity today. It's not as hot as 25 degrees Celsius, which is probably 80, 85 Fahrenheit. But it rained for 5 seconds like it does in Florida, and it's really humid. But I turn off everything, the air conditioning, everything, so I get better sound quality. I hope it works. But I got to still produce material for Life Changers. And I'm sitting in the closet talking to everybody and just trying to make this episode. But I'm rolling with it, and you just got to do what you got to do. My wife was laughing. I mean, she's taking pictures going, our humble beginnings, right? But yeah, you have to just do what you got to do and trust it. So, here's another thing. So we're staying on this resort for 14 nights and 15 days. But, I mean, we have to check out at 10 a.m., so you don't really count that. But we're staying at this resort. We booked it last minute. We literally just booked it, like 2 weeks before we got here. And so we're here in the resort, and we booked the 14 nights. And they're like, well, in order to accommodate you, we're going to book the 6 days. Then you're going to have to move from a condo to a villa for 2 days and go back to the condo for another 6 days or something like that. And at first I was like, that's crazy. And they said, well, don't worry, sir. We're doing what we got to do. It's last minute. I said, I understand, whatever, right? But they said, but chances are when you get there, they'll just keep you, you tell them, and they'll just keep you in the same room. No point in moving. And then when we get here, I'm like, yeah. She's like, here you go. Here's your keys to the room. This is where you are. This is the condo you're staying in. And I was like, well, can we possibly stay there for the whole thing? I got 2 more reservations. They said, you'll see what you can do, blah, blah, blah. And it's, it's not Canadian spring break here anymore. It's American spring break. And they're like, well, it's really full. But then she was like, something fell and hit me. It's crazy. Yeah, maybe sometimes I wish we were videotaping, and then you could see that I'm literally sitting in a dark closet with no light. The only light I'm getting is from the device I'm using to record. Towel just fell down. Anyways. But she was like, well, for $300, more, we'll just keep you in the same room. I'm like, that's ridiculous. I'm already paying enough to be here. Like, whatever. You can move us in 2 days. And like, we were so stressed about it. And she's like, well, just continue calling. So almost every day we're wasting an hour calling and getting stressed out, worrying. And I was just like, you know what? Like, whatever, forget about it. Who cares? Let's just roll with it. And whatever happens, happens. Hey, and I was thinking like, hey, we're going to go move into a new room. It's going to be clean, because they don't clean the rooms unless, like, deep clean them unless you pay extra for them. And when you're here long, they'll just do like make your bed and give you fresh towels and stuff. But they won't mop or sweep or anything unless you pay $80 and they'll do it. But anyways, I digress. So like, whatever, we'll get clean room. We don't have to pay for it. And then 2 days we come back and whatever, right? We'll just go off resort and go do some Legoland or something, right? And then we're just like, we kept on thinking about it. And then in the end, we get a call in the morning. We have to check out at 10 a.m. So this is what made me upset in a way. Because you got to check out at 10 a.m., but you can't check in before 4 p.m. And I'm like, well, I'm already here, so can I check out and check into the new room once it's ready? Oh, no, sir, you have to check out right away. And I was kind of up like, oh, man, just upset with it. And I was just like, whatever, I'll just take a deep breath, release, and see what happens. And then 5 minutes later, we got a call. Hey, yeah, we decided we'll just keep you there. So all that stress for nothing, when we should just roll with it, be happy with what we have, and just trust the process. Like, you just really have to trust. Like, it's amazing the things, like, I'm just going to make some noise while I hold on to this. It's really cramped in this closet. But I can't believe I'm making an episode in a closet in Florida. Anyways. But yeah, like, it'll be a fun story to tell one day. I'll look back at all this and be like, remember that time I was in a closet doing podcasts? But you really just gotta release and trust, like, and be happy. Like, I can't stress it enough. I'm breaking stuff in here, but oh man. Anyways, I'm glad I don't have an interview today with somebody, because then we'll be in this closet. Yeah, it's not a walk-in closet, I'm telling you. Like, my elbows are hitting the door and the wall. Anyways. Oh, see what I broke here. Oh, nothing. Oh, just a hanger. Anyways. I'm rolling with it, everybody. But, there's things that are out of your control. Why be stressed about it? Why worry? Why fight? Like, I'm sure in other situations, I'm just going to move that stuff. In other situations, people will scream and yell and think that will get your way. Like, when I was younger, as a lot of you guys know that follow the podcast, is I worked in fast food. I worked at a Harvey's Swiss Chalet combo off the highway in Quebec. On the highway was between Montreal and Ottawa. And you get people that would, like, just think if they yell at you and make up stories, that you'll give them what they want. But if people were being nice, like the way I am, I guess, it'd just be like, well, yes, I'm sorry, I understand, but, I saw a TV ad or whatever, right? And I just want, what I saw on TV, or, and even though it's an American TV ad for that restaurant, I would still honor it if they're being nice to me, right? But I digress. It's just, you got to remember, everybody, I know everybody, a lot of people are really just stressed out and pent out and screaming and yelling these days. I mean, I was at Walmart and just picking up some, like those little, the 99-cent tasters for like the different alcohols. And we're just looking at all those. And like, it's pretty cool, all these different flavors, because I don't drink much, but, every now and again, social drinker, I guess. But I was looking at all those little tasters, and then out of the corner of my eye, I hear somebody like getting upset, and I look over, and like, they even ask me for my ID. And we were asking them today, like, why do you ask for ID? Like, I'm obviously over 21. And she's like, yeah, we ask if you look under 40. I'm like, well, I hope you always ask me, because then, I'm going to age backwards. But anyways, and this person was with his dad, and the kid didn't look that old. He probably was 23, 24. And the lady's like, I need to see my ID. And the guy's son was like, I don't have my ID. And then the guy starts freaking out and yelling at her. It's like, and then for sure she shuts down. And the guy's like, well, I'm not buying nothing here. She's like, okay, bye. Have a good day. It kind of backfired on him. He kind of like, and she took everything away and put it away. And the guy kind of just like, okay, fine, and left. At least he stood his ground and left, I guess. But what do you think you're going to get? They're just doing their jobs, okay? It's their policy. And, you know, it's just ridiculous. You can't be screaming and yelling at people trying to get your way. If you really want to get your way, if you truly want to get your way, okay, is you will it to existence, whatever you want. Here's a story. Every time I say that, when I say like, hey, here's a story, I think of that song. It's an older song. Where it goes, it's a story of a girl that cried a river and drowned the whole world. And I'm not a good singer. I shouldn't quit my day job. But anyways, we were all swimming. And my kids, like every day, so we went, $20, and we went to this arcade place, kind of like Chuck E. Cheese, but here on the resort. And we got a bunch of points. And you could go to a machine. And you swipe your card, and you can see how many points you have, and you can get like a toy. So we decided, hey, we got like 700 points, and the things they want are like 25 points each and stuff. So we're like, we'll just every day for a week, we'll come here and get a toy or whatever, right? At least 7 times we'll come get toys between everybody, and whatever's left over, Daddy gets to get some candy. But anyways, my daughter was like, well, I'm going to get a different dragon every time. And then my other daughter was like, well, I'm going to get this little toy that looks like a squid. And my son, well, he's just like, I'll just get anything. And then my daughter was like, but I'm going to get a different dragon. I want to get all 5 different dragons. I'm not going to get any doubles. I'm like, yes, you can make that happen. And somebody in the line's like, no, I got the same dragon 3 days in a row. And I'm like, well, we're different. We don't think we're just going to get what we want. The kid's like, hey, if you could do it, man, I'll be impressed. And sure enough, we did it 7 times. And my daughter did not get 1 dragon. That's a double. My other daughter was like, I would like to get a couple doubles and show off her little, whatever she was getting, a little toy thing. And she got a few doubles. And then after she got her 3rd double, she's like, well, all I'm going to get is the same one. I'm worried. And then she put that into her reality. And then sure enough, every time we went, she would look, because there's a way you kind of like go on the floor, look up at the machine. You could almost see the color of what's coming next. She's like, it's yellow again. I'm not getting the same one. I don't need all of them to be the same here. And then my other daughter was like, yeah, I'm going to get a different one every time. I'm not even going to look. Swipe the card. Boop. And she did. So then we're swimming. And my wife's like, I'm going to go back and start making the supper, and in about an hour, you guys can come back. I'm like, sure. So we're swimming. And then on the way back, my daughter's like, oh no, just before we left the pool, my older daughter, she's like, I can't find my dragon thing. I had a dragon thing I put on under the blanket. It was hidden, but she grabbed the blanket, the towels, and then she brought them to the hot tub. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, going in a hot tub when it's like 35 degrees Celsius out there. Yeah, we got climatized pretty quick. So we needed that hotel. But anyways, that hot tub. And then we were worried. So she's looking everywhere. She's like, I lost it. And she's like, upset that she lost it. And I was like, whatever, let's get you another one. But she's like, I like that one. That was special, right? And I was like, well, just I said, let's practice what I preach. And they're like, oh, okay, Dad, life changer. It's so funny when my kids make fun of me about it. And I'm like, yeah, it works, okay? I try to tell them all the situations where it works. And, like, even for them, I'm like, you want to do that? And there's times I'm like, okay, fine, I'll try, and they try, and it works, right? And I was like, let's just think about the reality that we want. And I was like, let's think of the reality that when Mom left, she took all the toys. She even took yours and brought it back to the hotel room for us. And then we just have to bring back the towels. And then my daughter's like, oh, but why would Mom do that? I'm like, look, let's just try. So I'm like, let's close our eyes, and then they're all like entertaining me, especially my younger son and my young daughter. They're like, okay, Daddy, I'm there. And they're like pretending to jump through like a portal, making fun of me. It's hilarious. But I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, let's think of that reality. Now let's step into that reality. That's what happened. And my daughter's like, oh, okay, right, let's see, let's try. And we did it. And the first thing, as soon as we get home, I'm like, hey, Did you take all the toys? She's like, yeah, I felt like I should just take them all and bring them here. I'm like, my daughter just looked like I'm running around the airplane. I told you it works. I told you. They're all looking at me like, oh no, Dad is all like, oh no, freaking out and being all crazy. Like, and it's true, I was. I got to rub it in their face and say, hey, when it works, it works. But you truly just have to find. Okay, I'm giving you all the situations of that things that work for me, and just like the situations of me rolling with it and whatnot, right? And in the end, I always know when I look back, no matter what, as long as I'm just trusting and rolling with it and just experiencing life, okay? We have to be present. You have to be here. You have to be like here in the present. Like, it doesn't matter what is real, what is not real in this world or in your reality. The only thing that's real to you, okay, and I can't reiterate this enough, the only true thing to you that is real is whatever you believe. That's all that matters. That's what you're creating. That's what you believe. That's what you want in your reality. And that's what you're going to have. Even if you believe me or not, if you're listening to this for the first time and you're like, oh, this guy's just nuts, whatever. You don't believe me? It's your prerogative. You don't need to believe me. But know that every single human being in this whole entire existence is creating their reality, if you believe me or not. I'm telling you. Well, you're telling me I'm creating all this sickness and all this other stuff that I have right now? What are you doing? And Dr. Joe Dispenza says it the best. Like, you're always running high beta, high frequency. You're always running your engine full power with the brakes on it. That's going to screw everything up and make your car not work. Same thing in your human body. You're always running on high beta. You're like, whoa, what's high beta? Here, I'll give you the same example I gave like many episodes ago. As humans, right, we seem to be like, drama hungry or something, right? When something negative happens, we're always like, oh, we remember it, and we tell the whole story, and we're like, blah, blah. And every time you tell the story, in 10 years, 30 years, 50 years, right? And you tell that same story of what happened in your life. And if it's a dramatic experience and you're telling it, you will feel it the same as if it's happening right there. Your body will react the exact same. And it's been proven over and over in science. Like, they've done studies where, and I mentioned this before, but they've done studies where they had a group of people who did absolutely nothing. They're their control. Another group of people practiced the piano for an hour a day, a certain song. Another group of people closed their eyes, practiced that piano as if they were doing it, but not actually. Like, they're just like creating it in their mind that they did that thing. The people that did nothing, nothing's changed. The people that played the piano, something's changed in their mind. And the people that didn't, the exact same thing happened. Something changed, and it was the exact same result as the people that played every day. So it was as if they had the same muscle memory, the same everything, and it was crazy. So if you believe me or not, right? But that's what happens. Like, we just live in like you need to be more like a deer. When you watch those TV shows and you see a deer that almost gets eaten by an alligator, and the deer takes off like running like a bat out of hell, right? Just gone. Then he stops, looks around, and goes back to drinking or eating or whatever it was doing, right? It's as if nothing happened. So that for that deer, it went high beta, flight, and fight or flight, gone. It flight, it stops, boom, back to low beta, back to reality. But if that happened to you or to a human, you're sitting there, I don't know, swimming in the lake. Alligator comes up, tries to bite you. You're like, and you take off. You'll be talking about it for hours and days. You'll be telling everybody that you can see. I'll do the same thing, trust me. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but that's just our natural reaction. And then we'll tell the story over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And we'll start getting the exact same feelings. Like, we get that heart rate. We'll get the sweaty palms. We'll start getting all anxious and like, I got to get out of here. Then every time you see a body of water and you're looking at it like, there might be an alligator, and then you start freaking out and all that. And then you'll, boom, start psyching yourself out. You'll in your reality, every time you go buy bottle, every time you buy a bottle of water, there's an alligator in it. No, but every time you go to a lake, you'll freak out and think there's an alligator, and you start reacting. And then that's how you get where you're like, I can't go near the water anymore. And I'm not saying like, oh, I'm perfect, I don't do any of these things. No, you've heard my stories where I had my first panic attack. And when I think about it, so like, here's the crazy part, okay? I know better, right? I know better. I know it's all mind over matter. But every time I think about that time, even when I'm watching TV and I see somebody like drowning or choking or something, I start getting panic, like freaking out. And I'm like, what is going on? Like my mind's like, this is so... Oh, the door just opened. I lean on the door. Oh, I'm going to stop leaning on this door. Okay, I'm done. But I'm sitting like... my mind's like, this is ridiculous. I know I'm not drowning. I know it's just a TV show. I know it's not real. I know. But yet my body's just like freaking out as if it's happening to me. And it really pisses me off. It really does. But that's like, I don't know if that's our programming as humans, right? That's the programming we see because of what we watch and what's in the TV, what's in the world, because all we hear about, in the news and on TV is all this drama. Like, it'll take a good show and turn it into a drama based in the end. You could be about like how I go to the casino and make all this money, and then I could turn it into drama, and then everybody will watch it, right? But I don't know if that's just like what they're feeding us, or that's the programming they're running for us. But yeah, and I was like talking to my wife about it. I'm like, it really upsets me. She's like, well, look. She goes, I heard of this amazing podcast. You should listen to him. There's one called Stop Chasing, but now you should turn it around and stop running. I'm like, what? Stop running? And she's like, yeah, it's for Life Changers Mike. And I'm like, shut up. But like, she's like, no, for real. She's like, you talked about how you should stop chasing things, right? How you're chasing money, you're chasing this and you're chasing that. How you should just relax and let it come to you and stop chasing, right? I'm like, yeah. She goes, well, now every time that you start feeling anxious or this little panic attack or whatever, and you start getting anxious, you start running, don't you? You get up and run away and you try to like, right? So you're running. There's no difference than chasing. Now you're running. So now it's trying to catch up to you. Because when you're running away from somebody, I'm like, oh, I'm going to use this in my podcast. And here I am today. Right? But it's true. So I'm trying to run away from that. And I'm trying to like suppress it. Like, I don't like this, right? Running away from situations, running away from things, right? Well, then it's just going to chase me to catch up to me. It wants my attention. Because that's how things work. She goes, if you just sit there and recognize it, let it flow through you and accept it and then release it. And then you can overcome it. And I'm just like, wow. Right? So if anybody out there is listening to this and has anxiety or something like that's really just like bogging you down from being able to like trust the world and trust yourself and go out there and just roll with it and just be happy and love life, that, you're always like afraid something's going to happen, or I don't know what the situation is. And I'm not trying to diminish your situation or anything, but let's just go inside. Like, just close your eyes, see what's happening, like just experience it and be like, now why do I need to experience this? Why? And try to figure out why you have these situations and learn from it and then release it. And then as you can go through more and more, I hope it helps you and helps you to overcome the situations that you're in or the things that you're in. Like, I feel your pain. I just want everybody to be happy and feel loved. I really do. Like, yeah, I know it's hard to like, when you hear me talking and stuff, like probably if I do record video instead of me just hiding in a dark closet talking to you, making this podcast, that we might, connect more, connect better. But I just want everybody to know you are loved. Like, you're important. The other night, my kids were watching Phineas and Ferb. I really like that show. It's really fun. But they're watching Phineas and Ferb, and it's about these two young guys who like have a summer and they do all this crazy fun stuff, and then the older sister's trying to bust them and get them in trouble by their mom, right? She's just chasing. A good example. She's chasing to get them in trouble and chase, calling mom, chase, and then nothing ever happens because it seems to magically disappear or something like that, right, in the show. And then there's I guess they finished for a movie. I guess my kids were watching, and she was just like, well, somebody was talking to Candace, like that's this older sister, and they're like, no, why do you try to bust them? They do all this fun stuff. They're just having experiences and they're doing all this crazy stuff, and then you try to bust them and you end up, nothing happens. Then you feel bad and blah, 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 right? And then she just stopped and goes, I guess the real root is my brothers, my younger brothers are so much more important than I am. I'm not important compared to them. So I figured if I bust them, we'll be on the same level. And then, I'll be validated in my existence and my importance. I know it's a cartoon, but like you could take good lessons if you want to in everything you see out there. And, the whole thing goes and she's trying to find her importance, and then she finds her importance and all that stuff on the alien planet, and they're just taking advantage of her, right? But in the end, and before I get to the end, though, I see it happening all the time. Like, even you hear me in other podcasts when I was younger, like, people seem to have like drama stories, and I'm just like rolling with life and just like whatever, law of attraction, I get what I want. And inadvertently, I was using the law of attraction my whole life without even realizing it. And everybody wants to feel special, feel important. Okay. I believe that. I see it out there. Even me, younger me, other versions of me, I'm sure, they're all trying to feel their importance and trying to be important. We all want to be important. We're all important, right? But we really are truly important and unique individuals. Believe me or not, everybody in this world, everybody in this universe, everybody you come across in your reality. And like I mentioned before, right? It's like a movie, the way I see it, right? Or a video game, the way I experience it is, nothing's real unless you see it, right? So, Disney World is real because you see it on TV and all that. You might not have experienced it, but so it won't be truly in your reality until you come and experience Disney World or Florida or anything like that. But you heard of it, so you're like, oh yeah, it's real. But it's not a true experience and true reality until you experience it. Just like when you're driving down the highway or the interstate or the Autobahn in Germany, you're passing all these towns and villages, and those don't exist to you. Those people that live there do not exist to you at all. They're not in your reality. They're not in your peripheral. But if you ever stop and you pull over and you get into one of those towns, and now that becomes in your reality. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist at all, but it just doesn't exist in your reality until you experience it, until you see it. And all the people you come across, we are all creating together our reality. It's whatever you want it to be, right? A lot of people's reality is, well, I work real hard all year and I get 2 weeks off of work and I save up my money so I can take my family and travel on vacation for 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, we're going to experience everything we possibly can and drink as much as we can, because that's what people do on vacations. If you drink, I don't. I don't. I'm not, drink, right? I don't know. I just do it socially. It's fun. But I digress. But that's our reality. That's what we want. And people look at me like, even coming around the resort, people ask me like, oh, how long are you guys here for? In Florida. I said, in Florida? We're a total of 4 weeks. But we drove down, so it's like 2.5 days, 3 days, and 2.5, 3 days home, right? Because we drove. And they're like, wow, how do you get all that time off? You must, have a good job, and you must be wealthy, or you own your own company. Oh, wow, that's cool. You must be really successful, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I look around and I see other people and And you're always like, oh, they are more successful than me. They have a nicer vehicle. Look how big their house is. Look at this. Look at that. And we're always constantly diminishing ourselves. I realized that. When I came to Florida in 2018, or in 2019, and I had like my old truck, I had a trailer, and I was like, wow, this is cool. Look, and I bought it. I own it. It's no payments, nothing. I buy it and I own it. But then when I go to Florida and see all these amazing, nice things, I'm like, wow, everybody has more than me. Everybody's richer than me, and you start diminishing yourself. And we all do it. But in reality, on the outside, everybody's looking back at you, or in my case, me, going, wow, this guy's the luckiest guy in the world. He gets to come and travel 5 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months in Florida. Wow, he's really lucky. And then yet we're looking at them going, they're lucky. Just know that we're all lucky and we're all important. Anyways, back to Phineas and Ferb. So Candace, in the end, realizes that, like, she's like crying. She's like, I guess I'm not important. Everybody's just taking advantage of me. And that's the problem, right? If you're trying to seek validation from the world, you get people that might want to take advantage of your generosity, your situation. And it's happened to me many times, right? We'll be going out, but I pay for everybody. And then they're, oh yeah, if you're ever going to pay for a group of people, don't pay for them and tell them you're going to pay for them. Just pay for them secretly in the end, because then they'll buy more expensive stuff because they're taking advantage of you. But yeah. Anyway, so she's just like crying, freaking out, like, oh, like, I'm just going to accept that I'm not important. I'm nothing, blah, blah, blah. And her 2 younger brothers come to her and go, Candace. And for the whole movie, they're trying to give her a birthday present because it's her birthday. And they're like, Candace, just open your present already. So she opens it, and it's a cup, and it says number one sister. And she's like, oh, that's nice. I don't even deserve this cup, because the whole time I'm just trying to get you guys in trouble. And you guys, why do you like me? Why do you care? They're like, push the button. Because, Phineas Ferb do everything crazy. Then a little ball comes up and it projects all these little videos of all the fun times they had. Like on the TV show. Like all the different adventures, all the, I know what we're going to do today, on the roller coaster, singing and all this stuff. And they're like, Candace, to us, you are awesome. You are number one sister. You're amazing. See, because we're constantly judging ourselves. We're constantly diminishing who we are and what we are, and just pushing ourselves down. And I do it all the time to myself, If I look over to my left in this closet, there's a mirror, and I look at it, I'm like, oh, you're bigger than I think. But I should just stop hating who I am and what, who I became, like size-wise, like weight-wise, and just embrace it and deal with it and move forward and then be who I want to be and create who I want to be. And then I'll be in the situations and stuff where I'll be who I want and be where I want. We just got to stop. Just like in that TV show with Phineas and Ferb, like from everybody else, they're looking back at you going, wow, you're amazing. You're doing an amazing job. And yeah, everybody has their bad days where they start yelling and freaking out and just can't contain themselves. I try to be nice. Only once I freaked out. At an employee, I'm sorry. That was a long time ago. But anyways. But yeah, just know how amazing you are, how important you are, and how, like, you control your world, your destiny. There's nothing stopping you from achieving what you want to do. The only thing that's really stopping you is you. The only thing that's stopping you from progressing or achieving any of your goals. There's no outside forces. You can't say anything else. It's you. The buck stops with you. You can't blame anybody. Like, it's crazy. Like, I was talking to the lady at the liquor store and that works there. And I was like, so like, you could obviously tell that the guy is over like 21, but they still insist that they have to see the ID, right? And I'm like, it's obvious, right? Why do you need to? And she goes, well, it's for our protection. Because now if I sell him the alcohol or whatever without seeing the ID for whatever reason. Or if somebody comes in and they're a little drunk and I sell them more alcohol and they get into a car accident, they can come back to the employee. Like they can sue, say, well, she sold it to me, it's her fault. Or you work at a bar, well, they sold me the liquor and I drank too much. They should have cut me off and I crashed and it's their fault. So then you, as the server, goes to jail, apparently. I was like, what? That's ridiculous. It's taking responsibility away from people. I'm sorry, but you have to take responsibility for your actions, for your life, okay? You are in control of everything. You take responsibility for what goes on in your life. And yeah, sometimes there's something that happens where, like you heard my story, where somebody hit me with his truck and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Like we're still waiting for insurance and stuff, but it's not my fault, but just roll with it. Who knows what might come out of it? I know I'm sitting there thinking like, fun fact, the insurance company came back to me and says, hey, Mike, the year and all that of your truck is worth this much. It's like $11,000, which is more than I paid. I paid $3,500. Okay. But in the last 4 years, I got 4 brand new doors installed, a new box installed in the back of the pickup. We redid brand new mufflers, brand new brakes, brand new tire, everything. Like I put a lot of money into that vehicle to make it like nice for the road. And I'm like, sorry, it's worth a lot more than that. And it's still drivable. I literally drove it from Canada to Florida. It's just the physical damage. Like seriously, the damage is only like $8,000. How come they can't fix it? But the easy way out for them is just, we'll just give you the money and hopefully you take it. And I said, no, thank you. Let's reevaluate it when I get back. And but maybe the universe is like, hey, Mike, just letting you know, soon your truck, is going to be useless for whatever reason. So just, roll with it. Like it's out of my control that somebody hit me. They ran a red light and hit me, but could be for the better. And I don't even know why, right? You just got to trust. I might never know why, but you just got to trust and take responsibility. So yeah, I take responsibility that when we booked the hotel, I booked it last minute and they did what they could have done. And I was worried and stressed out and I was starting to feel angry. Like, well, you think they would, but in reality, if I did absolutely nothing about it and stopped worrying and stressing and stopped doing whatever, I still would have the same outcome where they'll call me and be like, yeah, it's kind of stupid if we move you, so we'll just keep you. Because they pay a cleaning company to come through, like, I don't know, $200 to clean a place. So then it's, they're saving $400 and I get to stay in one room because they don't have to clean it twice for me. So it makes sense, right? Like when things just make sense, just bring it into your reality and accept what's going on and roll with it. But in the end, I cannot reiterate, the buck stops with you. Well, I'm not successful right now, Mike, because of this, because of that. Or well, I want to be a Hollywood actor and, they only take certain people and I'm never at the right place, right time. It's about who you know, not what you know. If you truly put the energy into it and do everything in your power, you will become successful. That's all there is to it. But you really, really have to roll with it. Back to one of my companies that I started in 2019, I just it was as if, it was just given to me. Like my higher self's like, here, this is what you're going to do and let's do it. And I was just like, whoa, it's like a vision. It's like foreseeing the future or something. And I did it. I pushed and did it in 2019 and then it worked out great. I couldn't predict what was going to happen in 2020 to 2022. And my business just flourished. But if I stuck with my original idea of what I thought, package in, package out, I would not be in business today. I know it's only been 4 years, but I wouldn't be in business today. I rolled with it. I adapted to the situations where, okay, well, this customer's getting like 20 packages here. Let's just repack it for them and ship them one package, right? That makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? And then the customer saves a lot of money because shipping one package 20 times is, 20 times 20, $400. But if I ship it all at once, the shipping cost is only going to be like $60 in one big box. Makes sense to me. But yeah, you'd be surprised how many outside forces are like, it's hard. You're spending all this money on programming. You're spending all this money on the web development. You're spending all this money on this. Just package in, package out. It's the easiest thing. Let's go. Push. It's not your fault that they send you more than one. No, but I treat people the way I want to be treated. I treat people with respect, honest. The other day we were at a restaurant and I met this lovely lady. She was retired from the U.S. Navy, and we were just talking, like, as we went up to the buffet. It was a buffet, so as we go to the buffet, we were just chit-chatting, and, everybody down south is just amazing people. Everybody's just happy and just talking, and just, everybody just respects everybody. It's crazy, like, and I know Florida's different, because there's so many different people from around the world, tourists and stuff, but everybody's just nice. I don't know, I never met, I'm probably bumped into a couple of crazy people, but I only want to attract good people. Anyways, we're just talking. So I was just like, So I told the waitress, I was like, just put her table on our bill. I'll pay for her. And I saw another, I was just like, you know what, put it on for that table as well. Like a mom and a daughter. I was like, I'll just pay for them too, And she's like, oh, wow, that's really nice, I said, She's like, can I tell them who did, who paid for them? I'm like, well, if you want. But I said, here, just give them a Life Changers card. And tell them that they are important. Because they really are. And then I ended up leaving, and then I ended up forgetting something. I came back in, and the one lady was like, oh, thank you very much, And it was funny. She was like, I heard you talking to the waitress about, like, how you travel and stuff like that. And then you gave her a card, but you never gave me one. And I was offended why you wouldn't give me a card. But then shortly after, she came and says, here's your invoice, which said $0 because I paid for it, and here's the card. And she's like, oh. And then she's like, thank you. And I was just like, you're awesome. Just, she's like, that's really appreciated and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, and I appreciate you. Like, just for being awesome, just for being happy, just for having that good energy, that good vibe. So if ever, and it's funny because I was talking to my wife at the table. I'm like, hey, honey, I want to pay for that table and this table. And she's like, okay, whatever. And I said, look, we always talk about how, like, when Life Changers takes off and we're making revenue and we can go around and be kind of like Mr. Beast of Canada, like just changing people's lives, like just find out, find out their stories, see who needs a leg up and just hook them up. And how amazing that would be. But I come to realize, like, what's stopping me from starting now and just changing their life with a little bit, like by paying their food order at a restaurant, or by paying their gas at a gas station, or just giving somebody $20, $50 just to be like, here, I appreciate you, you're awesome, or paying their bus tickets or whatever, right? Just random people. And not expecting things back. Because subconsciously when I give things to people and they're like, okay, thanks, bye. And you could tell they're, you don't feel the energy of the appreciation. They're just like, yeah, cool, thanks. Kind of bugs me. But that's just my issue, okay? Has nothing to do with the individual or the person. I'm sure they appreciate it too. And some people paid for it, some people won't. Who cares, right? I don't expect anything. I just do it out of the kindness of my heart. And the waitress was like, well, you're going to get tenfold back, when you... I was like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't really care. Like, I just want to do good, and I like seeing people smile and be happy, It would be really amazing for me to find a family and be like, hey, you guys want to go to Disney World? And they're like, oh, we can't afford that. Well, here, let's go to Disney World. I see it on YouTube and TikTok, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that. But what's stopping you now? If you want to make small changes in your reality and in your world and have good energy and good vibes flowing your way, just roll with it. If ever you feel the still small voice or your gut or something just pushing you to like, hey, pay for that person. Or if you're in line, at an ice cream store, just pay for the person behind you or pay for the person in front of you. Be like, can I pay for you? Or just give them $20, right? If you feel the desire to do it, do it. You'll be amazing how much good will come out of it and how much good in the world, and the goodness of the world will just grow and grow and grow, because there'll be people that'll pay for it and people that won't, but people will just feel loved and important. And tell them this simple thing that, yeah, you matter. You are important. If people ever ask you, why me? You're important. You matter. Because you really do. Every individual matters. Every person that listens to my podcast matters. And the people that don't listen to it, they still matter. But I mean, people that listen to my podcast, it matters for the algorithm, and it will grow and grow and grow, and it helps my numbers. And in turn will eventually, I could make money out of it, right? And be able to do good. I just want to pay it forward, right? And if you feel the desire, if you're listening to this podcast, like, hey, I want to contribute something to the podcast. Well, there's a link. You don't have to contribute monthly. You can hit the link, the one-time thing, and just send us a little thank you and pay it forward. And then, as we go around, we will pay it forward. Right now, I'm paying everything out of pocket, which is cool. But as long as money's flowing, as long as my business is doing good, I can continue. But I want to get to the point, honestly, where I can do amazing things. And you can do amazing things, too. You don't have to donate to my podcast or anything. You can just, when you feel it, just do it. Buy some, if you see somebody who looks thirsty, buy them a Coke, buy them ginger ale, whatever whatever drink they want, water or something, just hook them up. You'd be surprised how people will be grateful. Even if you think it's just a small thing, giving somebody a bottle of water, or it's a small thing, giving somebody, $5-10, or paying their $20 bill at the buffet. It's the fact that they feel important, because they are. Everybody's important. I love everybody, and I love you. And I just want to reiterate that. Let's bring good in this world. Let's change it. Let's change this world one day at a time, one person at a time. Let's do good when we feel the desire to do good. When we feel the prompting from our higher selves, from that still small voice, from your gut, from your heart, just being like, let's just pay it forward. Let's just do some kindness today. And try to be kind all the time. But when you are in a position, if you have an extra $5, $10, $20, or whatever, let's do some good with it. Pay it forward. Let's change people's lives. Let's make this world from a negative to a positive. Let's take it from, the whole drama and all this crazy thing, and, get to know your neighbor. Get to know people. Roll with it. Talk to people. You'd be surprised. It's crazy how everybody's faces are on their phones, or, I'm not that old, okay? I'm only in my 30s, but I remember a time when we knew our neighbors and we knew everybody in the block and everything. But now I bet people don't know each other. Get out there. Get in the real world. Get to know people. Create your reality. Create what you want. Don't be like, well, okay, whatever, If you want something, create it. Go get it. Achieve it. Be it. Step into that reality where you have it. You want to change lives? Change lives. You want to travel the world? Travel the world. You want to go to Florida? Go to Florida. Because there's no time like the present. Like, when I just roll with it, I stop worrying, and when I'm like, okay, who are we going to find to keep the company, running the company for us while I'm gone? Who are we going to find to do this or this? And what happens if this happens? What happens? Stop thinking like that and just do it. I just finally did it, and I'm in a closet in Florida doing a podcast. But, do what you want. The only one that's stopping you is you. And I just want to say one more time, I do love you. I love everybody. Even if you're not listening to my podcast, I'm sending out positive energy to everybody. I want everybody to feel loved and important. Thank you very much for everybody that do listen. And thank you to everybody that do, tip us every now and again. We do appreciate it, and we just pay it forward. We just continue to bring out the good. And I'll talk about it as we do it. And then eventually, as we get bigger and bigger, we will start videotaping and filming. Just, I don't know. I think we should, just to show that we're doing things, or talk to people, or have audio where you hear us or whatever. I don't know, but just to show that we're doing good in the world. I just don't want to film and make it look like we're trying to look at me, right? But I know, we just got to change people's lives. And, if I need to podcast it or videotape it and to show that we're doing good in the world, and then more people would listen and believe, then sure. But just know that you're an amazing person, and that, everybody's important. Create the reality you want. Create the positive energy you want. Create the wealth that you want. Let's do it. Let's change this world and create love and compassion, understanding, and kindness everywhere we go. Thank you very much for listening. This is Mike with Life Changers. How do you turn this off? It's getting so hot in this closet.